Welcome back to Southeast Sports Plus, a familiar face to the Southeastern Conference, was a familiar face to the Sun Belt Conference, and now he's returning back to the Fun Belt. It is Billy Napier, of course, fired 7 games into this past season after just over 3 years with the Gators, fired in that 4th season, immediately finding another job over at one of the powerhouse programs in the group of 5. Welcome to Southeast Sports Plus. I am Gerhard Mathangani, joined by Patrick Walsh. Patrick, we found this one really interesting because Billy Napier, he is a coach to me that I think is still ascending. I think that he is still reaching to what the kind of coach he can be in his prime. So much so that even before he was fired, we had people like our friend Holden Cruzmark coming on here and saying, we want him for Oklahoma State. Yeah. So already being kind of talked about as a guy that probably won't go too far away from the Power 5. I think this move to JMU is about as close, sorry, to Power 4. I keep going into next year.
It might become the Power 5.
Might be, I mean, and I'm not going to give the Pac-12 that much love just yet. So it's still
Power 4 and a half.
Power 4 and a half and a quarter. But to me, if you're on the edge of the group of 5, you might as well be a lower tier Power 4 team. And JMU certainly is that given their recent history.
Well, I mean, I feel like we keep on talking about the Nick Saban 2015 coaching tree. And obviously Billy Napier being the wide receivers coach for that team is a part of that tree.
Right.
And he got his first taste at Louisiana Lafayette, and he did pretty well there, I would say. So that garnered a spot at Florida. And it just didn't really work out for him. I think the regression of DJ Lagway this year would basically spelled the doom for Billy Napier in the end, because I mean DJ didn't really look any better once Billy Gonzalez took over it in the interim. So I'll be interested to see what Florida and John Summerall does with Napier, or with goodness, I'm getting all of them mixed up now with DJ Lagway next year. But if he stays, I mean I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, I mean the portal doesn't open for just under a month now, but JMU is quietly becoming one of those programs that you do want to go coach at, because you look at the last 2 head coaches. Curt Cignetti obviously parlays that into an incredible run so far at Indiana, and Bob Chesney, he just took the UCLA job, and it'll be interesting to see how UCLA is. And hey, JMU could potentially, if the cards align, could potentially be playing for a college football playoff spot here tonight.
Yes, the American Championship is tonight. The Sun Belt Conference Championship is tonight. The American Championship is also this week. All the conference championships are this week. But
I believe both the Group of 5s are tonight.
Yeah, both American and Sun Belt.
Both the Group of 5s that still mean something in regards to the college
in regards to the college football playoff. That's correct. I mean, I know we have the Conference USA and some of the others, but as it relates to real logistical teams that can vault themselves into the college football playoff, that is one of them. And so to me, if you're Billy Napier and you're going to, I don't know how it works out with the buyout, because I'm sure JMU probably can't cover all of it. But this is a proud program, and to me, like you said, JMU is not an old program for a lot of different reasons. I mean, they had athletics, but did not have football for a really long time. Got football, were immediately successful, but you might remember one of their first years in, they were still under the NCAA, that little probationary period, so to speak. They couldn't even make a bowl game, and they have parlayed all that success into great head coach after great head coach, and now another guy. And he's not just a name that, a lot of times these Group of 5 schools want to get a name that was in the Power 4 in the SEC. He wasn't just in the SEC, but he was a very good coach in the Sun Belt Conference, won a couple Sun Belt Conference championships. So this is a proven commodity here for the Dukes.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about this JMU program over the last few years, I think about obviously Curt Cignetti really bringing the program up to speed. But the game that stands out to me is the one last year against UNC, where Bob Chesney took his Dukes into Chapel Hill and beat UNC by what some people will just look at the box score and be like, they playing basketball, and they beat him by 20 in basketball? I mean, a 70-50 game. That still just blows my mind that can even happen.
I don't even know if I've seen those scores in 7-on-7.
Yeah,
when it's basically flag football out there. I mean, that was an insane result.
I mean, I've seen one. Here's the story. So when I was covering high school football a few years ago up in New York, and the 8-man up there is huge.
Yeah,
there was a team that won a game 116-10. Yes, you heard me right. 116-10.
Good gosh.
And this was a team that is just like, I mean, the one guy would rack up like 700 all-purpose yards. I mean, he'd throw for 300, run for 300, and they had 2 quarterbacks, so the guy would also get like 200 yards receiving too. It's just unreal. But I mean, a true Division I football game against a P4 opponent, you win 70-50. I mean, this is a program that, as I mentioned, as long as Duke, not the Dukes, but Duke wins against Virginia, I think James Madison is all but in the college football playoff, and they will likely be the 12th seed behind North Texas or Tulane. They'll be the 11th seed.
Yeah. Do you see so you do see the scenario where it's 2 G5 teams that are in?
I mean, I looked at the spread, and I'm shocked that Virginia is only a 4-point favorite against
I know.
Duke.
Yeah.
Like, this is just crazy. Yeah. And honestly, no offense to the ACC will always hold a special place in my heart. Goodness, that conference is just
rough.
It's
rough.
So bad.
And there's still a chance. And I've heard a few talking heads talk about there still being a chance for Miami to kind of get their way in.
Yeah.
If it comes back, if BYU loses and it comes back down to the head-to-head, the committee can get it right. But
I'd make the argument still. Like, I know all the Miami fans want to talk about the Notre Dame Miami whole debacle. Well, if you can't. If your conference champion isn't going to get into the playoff, why do you deserve to be in if you couldn't even make your own conference championship?
Right.
Like it just doesn't make any sense.
And they'll come back and say, "Oh, well, it's not really our fault. It's a convoluted system. But you
had
a chance to win the games.
Win against SMU. Win against Louisville, who both had 4 losses at least. I mean, like, come on, we got to win the games here to get in.
Yeah. And they'll say, "Hey, we beat the team that's ahead of us." In a perfect world, I would like to see both of them in, maybe. Both Notre Dame and Miami in, but I'm with you. I do think that we might see 2 G5s in this big dance, and led by, of course, Tulane, but then also maybe JMU if they're able to win tonight in the Sun Belt Conference Championship. You mentioned that this is a nice launching pad, and I know JMU doesn't want to just be the stepping stone for everybody else, but this does seem to be like, hey, you leave JMU. And I don't know if JMU's athletic budget is $92 million. That's what Kirk Cignetti is getting paid over the next 11 years by himself. So it does feel like you come to Harrisonburg, Virginia, and you're able to launch that into
and I've driven through there before. It's a nice when you think of college town, you think of Morgantown, West Virginia. You think of you think of Tuscaloosa and like all the good college towns. But I mean, Harrisonburg, Virginia, that's a college town right there. And they're going to have to see if Billy Napier can replace Bob Chesney after he takes the UCLA job. But, I mean, I know some Dukes fans were like, okay, we just lost Kurt Cignetti. Like what are we going to do now? And I think Bob Chesney elevated the program even more than Cignetti did. And it's just, I mean, you still have to give Cignetti all the props in the world for what he's doing at Indiana right now. But, I mean, I think this is a good marketing tool, though, for these coaches that are trying to reinvigorate themselves, try to refine their coaching. And I know we've talked about, hey, what was one of the biggest downfalls for Billy Napier? It was just his inability to, get those wins and not give up the play calling. That was a major talking point for pretty much the entire season, not hiring someone to do the play calling. Well, I mean, you look at his Sun Belt resume. He's 40-14, and 2-1 in bowl games. 3 straight 10-win seasons at Louisiana, and 2 Sun Belt titles, and then the last 2 head coaches at JMU both landed Power 4 jobs.
So, which begs the question: do you see a return to the Power 4? I'm trying to think of a coach that has done this, where he was in the Group of 5, into the Power 4. Then lost his job, went back, and then came back. Do you see a pathway? Because I kind of hinted on the front end. I think that he's young enough in his career to kind of make that trek back. Do you see that from Napier?
Yes. Me too. And honestly, I know Florida fans aren't going to want to hear this, but I feel like the administration failed him. Because you look at the last 2 quarterbacks. What is Anthony Richardson doing right now? Oh, he's getting paid a bag to sit behind Daniel Jones. Now, if you said that to anybody like 4 years ago, they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is terrible.
Right.
I mean, he had one good season with the Giants, but he's becoming the next Sam Darnold. And then look at what Sam Darnold is doing, too.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just Anthony Richardson. It seems like he just can't get out of his own way with the injuries and stuff. And, I mean, I do go back to his college days, and some of the throws he made are just questionable.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then who does that remind you of? DJ Lagway, the 5-interception game against LSU.
Seems a little wayward.
And it's just like I feel like the resources that were given to him, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what John Summerall does at Florida, and that's going to really refine my case even more, because if John Summerall has problems at Florida getting the right guys in and stuff like that, then I know it's like, okay, it's not just a Billy Napier problem. It's a booster problem potentially.
Right.
And it might be a deper problem.
Yeah, because they're definitely in a rich recruiting state, but they have not had much success since Urban Meyer left. We touched on Chesney a moment ago for being one of the coaches that made the ascent from the Dukes over to the Power Four, going across the country to UCLA. We got a chance to hear from him just ahead of the Sun Belt Conference Championship.
Well, that price is not paid this week, right? That price is paid over this year. I said it at the beginning when we got here and started the new season, is that it takes a full year to put a trophy in a trophy case. It doesn't happen on a game day, on a Friday night. So they understand that, and they understand the commitment that all went into that. And that's probably the most important thing, I think, for them, is that all along the way, that was ultimately our motto, and a big thing that we spoke about is that, the price of achieving anything is the, amount of life you're willing to sacrifice for it. And for them, they don't have, nobody knows, exactly what that price is, but one team at the end of the day on Friday night will. And I think it's important that we do not leave any stone unturned. We invest the time and the commitment and the energy and, into not only our team, but also to our teammates and our preparation, so that when we walk on that field, we know that we won't have any regrets. And really, any regrets that happen on game day usually come from the preparation leading into that anyway. And I think that's really what that thing is all about, is the preparation that goes into it, and they've done a great job of it. Yeah, I think it was great. We have not, all year we haven't been there. We've been ranked in some other polls, but haven't been ranked in that one. So it was great to, see our name, finally pop up there. But okay, we talked about it all year. That number's next to your name, and if you focus on that number, it'll disappear really quickly. If you focus on what got that number there, you can accomplish some pretty good things. So that's where, again, we're just locked in on.
This whole Chesney thing, coaching in this game, as well as the North Texas coach and Morrison coaching in this game, the Tulane coach coaching in the game as well. It just reminds me that the coaching searches and these coaching hirings going to the next place can be handled so many different ways. Oh, yeah. And the fact that Chesney will be on the sideline tonight, although he's trying to prepare a UCLA football team get ready. Same thing with Morris on his next stop on the way to Stillwater. I think that this is a really interesting time, and I really like the way that places like JMU is handling this and letting him coach and stay and be with these guys, whether they make it to the college football playoff or not.
I mean, there's one thing for certain. We need to fix the schedule, and I think I've said this a million times this week. I mean, the schedule is so broken right now where the transfer portal it starts January 2nd. So, I mean, if you're coaching in this game, like, what do you even do? Like, do you want to win this game? Because what you're doing is you're just prolonging your ability to be able to focus on – because, I mean, as I mentioned, if Duke wins and then JMU wins, JMU is going to be playing in the college football playoff.
Yep.
So you have to prepare for game one, while at the same time keeping an eye on the transfer portal and trying to find out who you're going to get in the portal.
Right.
And then finalize your staff for next year. Yeah. So it's an interesting conundrum that Morris over at North Texas is going through. John Summerall at Tulane's going through. Yeah. Bob Chesney's obviously going through it right now. Lane Kiffin, they didn't even give him an opportunity to come back and deal with it. So, I mean, it's just it is interesting. There's obviously different ways of handling it. We saw the whole Lane Kiffin drag it out a little bit. You got to keep the attention over in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And then these other coaches where it's like, yeah, I'm coming back. And Bob Chesney was asked about the UCLA job, and he just shut it down instantly. He's like, I don't even want to talk about it right now. I want to talk about this team and the ability that this team had to get them into this game.
Yep. And that's that kind of like singular focus that you have to have as a coach, because if not, there's way too much chaos, because it's hard enough to coach one team, much less coach a championship team and try to get ready for your next season.
It's just so broken. We just need something. I know, I understand why the transfer portal is in the spot that it is because of semesters and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like you should just maybe make it in May or something, like late May, right after the spring semester. I know that's cutting it close to the season, but I mean, you look at free agency.
It's one block, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's a few months away from the actual season. So I think it would just be better for the sport, because then we would stop seeing these coaches leave right before these runs and take these other jobs, so that way their head's in a different spot.
Right. You got to treat it, in my opinion, I'm like, you treat it a lot like the NFL, because it's already going that way.